Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's program. Today, we're discussing a very important topic, which is letters and numbers and their magical abilities. And what are those things? So, around us, we see all the time letters and numbers. In your name, there is letters and numbers. So, what happens when I vocalize and call you your name every single day for a month, for a year, for a couple of years? That name is bound to have an effect on your mind. So we need to begin to understand the power of letters and numbers, the power of sigils, and where they come from, so we can start to actually gain our power back to come when it comes to the understanding of those things and the utilization of those things in our everyday life. Because when you learn how to speak the word of God can never ever return void. It always gets that which it was sent out for. But how did letters and numbers start? How did these magical incantations start, and for what purpose the designer made it for? Letters and numbers, man, is not nothing crazy. It's literally just markers of travel. See, your mind is not just any regular mind. Your mind is a spaceship. Your mind, your soul, your spirit, it's all a vacuum that pulls in a particular reality. And when you learn to vocalize certain sounds like all these are different sounds that anchor in a particular frequency and a particular energy. And when you trap that energy in your body, that energy leads to a particular manifestation, because how you internally move as a spirit, you literally are doing sigils. So this is what's in science is also known as your biorhythm, which is basically your life force, your chi. How high, how strongly are you vibrating right now? Are you walking around everywhere like you are the shit? Everywhere you go, are you getting attention from people without even trying, just because of your presence, just because of your energy? See, if you are not being noticed, you have failed to take notice of what's going on in yourself, meaning that you are too lost into the variables, into the operational variables that the shadow government has presented you with them utilizing their grammars, their sigils, so they can control your mind. Because whoever can define something gets to control that something. This is why we even get the problem with the Jews when it comes to semantics and things like that. Because when the Jews was moving forward with this type of knowledge, they was changing definitions so much that in the courts of laws, they had to hold them accountable in terms of the basis of what they were speaking on. Because you can use semantics for a lot of different things. But the point being is that you already have a particular signature energy that is vibrating in you. Let me call it a particular portal. See, you already have an emanation. God has already given you an attribute and a characteristic. The reason why we get lost, the reason why we get confused is because we are operating at this moment in the dark side of our gift rather than understanding the light side of our gift and doing exactly what Jesus commands in the Bible, or in the Essene Gospel of Peace, which is to make the upper like the lower and the inner like the outer. Meaning that there is no difference between light and darkness. These are things that we just simply define with our mind, and we let the morality of man define us, because the morality of man has nothing to do with the causality of God. For example, let's look at our brothers and sisters over at the East, hating on our brothers and sisters over at the West because they choose to have a different form of morality, a different way of living, a different lifestyle. In ancient times, in ancient cultures, no two people has lived the same. Everybody always developed a different mind based on the environment. If you're living on an island, you will develop a different mind than somebody who is living on a bigger ground. Let's say like America, or let's say like Africa, or things like that, because you're constantly looking at water, and the water has the feeling of calmness on your mind, so it generates a particular portal. So everything around you is a portal if you understand how to program your mind again to look at these things. Because right now you're walking through the hallway and you just think it's a hallway. You're sitting on your desk and you think it's just a desk. All these things were designed with virtues and principles. Somebody had an intention in mind for those things to be what they are right now. For like a table, for example, it's the idea of stability, having four legs on the ground, being concrete, being grounded into something, being established, being situated not constantly moving and shaking. Same thing with the foundations of a house. See, we forgot about the foundations of our internal house, because in the Bible it tells us that in my Father's house there are many mansions, and you need to understand those mansions, the planetary energies in those mansions, so you can begin to manifest yourself, because you are here to see a revelation. You are a self-fulfilling prophecy. So all these letters and numbers are just travels of a spirit. See, many spirits travel in and out of this dimension, but the question is, how do we do it? See, you didn't need nobody to teach you about this shit. You have already initiated yourself. All I'm here to do as Insight 11 is to remind you of your own personal powers, to remind you of your own personal capabilities, and for you to be able to go back to doing your purpose. See, right now, a lot of us are cogs in the machine that, the beast system. We're powering up the beast system with our thoughts and feelings, and they are using our desires. They're using our root chakra, our sacral chakra, our solar plexus, our moon chakra. See, they don't care. They are willing to harness any aspect of you as long as you're willing to put your electric chi, which is your external ability to externally outside of you and move and run and do all these different things inside of their system. So you're inside of a warehouse, you're picking a box, you're inside of a factory, you're doing all these things. But this is their Saturn-based matrix. See, Saturn is a symbol for structure. It's Chronos. It's the reaper of time. See, are you the one right now in control of your time? Or do you have somebody else who hijacked your mind and has taken your time? And now they are the ones who are responsible for giving you Saturday, Sunday off. And then, they told you Sunday you need to go to church. So they made you have an extra responsibility to power up their system and their theology systems, even though you're supposed to be on the weekend and on Sunday, you're supposed to take rest and create that new idea, that new sun you want to see and things like that. If you want to get into the 7 days of the week, as far as Sunday, Monday, Moon Day, Tuesday, Mars Day. Now, does any of that matter? No, not really, because when you're living in eternity, when you know your purpose, when you know what God has placed you on this planet here to do, you will not be wasting your time with anything else other than doing exactly what God has placed you on earth to do. And there's no greater honor, there's no greater privilege, there's no greater pleasure than that. Because that's going to help expand you. Your purpose is here to expand. You're not only assisting God, you're not only assisting other cells in the body of God, you're also assisting yourself by moving forward with a worthwhile ideal and a standard for your life, rather than accepting the standard and the narrative the shadow government has given you and want you to carry on. See, letters and numbers, man. A, alpha, it's like the number one. When you get into the gematria of it, when you get into the numerology of it, one is like, leadership, having individuality, being a trailblazer, being the first person to run into the unknown. You are the leader of this. You are the leader of the pack, and you are leading the pack. If you are a life path one, you are here to lead the pack. And number two, intuition, being in tune, duality, seeing the two different sides of something in and out of reality. You being in tune with your intuition. Two is a feminine number. Two is a number that senses things within, that does things in the internal realm, in the yin realm. The number one operates in the external realm by showing us leadership and things like that. Number two is intuition. The number three is creativity, having solutions, having the ability to think outside of the box. You being able to equalize your thoughts and your feelings to create a solution for the problem. See, number threes always have creative solutions for things, because that's what God has placed them here to be. And I give them the symbol of the sword, because the sword is like iron, so it's kind of like Mercury. It's kind of like having the ability to think, communicate, and analyze, and things like that. I look at it also like, the polarity of Gemini and Virgo is mixed into that, because all these things is based on fields, energy fields that all of Earth experiences. Because when we're at Virgo season, when you're at the time of the harvest, you're ready to take care of the crop and things like that. And that takes thinking, that takes analyzation, that takes to be patient and things like that. See, solutions sometimes take time and things like that. Number four is like stability, it's grounded, being able to work hard for the things that you want to, taking responsibility, being a responsible person, not only for yourself, but for others. But The dark side of it is when you take responsibility for other people too much, they want you to keep doing that because obviously nobody wants to take responsibility for their lives. So each number, each letter is a magical sigil that's actually causing your mind to travel in a particular direction and is manifesting a particular energy in your life. So if your name starts with O, X, I, T, L, O, all these things are magical sigils that manifest a particular energy into your life. Now, some people believe that our names were not given to us by any coincidence. That there's angels, demons working all together to make us realize who we are and take us through the trials and tribulations that we need to go through to get out of the Saturn moon matrix, get out of Chronos, get out of the time reaper. Because right now we are trapped in this time to realize who we are. But you see, the dominant culture, the people that run this matrix, they got very smart and they said, we know that God put us in the matrix so we can spiritually evolve, but we're going to sit here and we're going to harvest this matrix. We're going to harvest God and eat God for ourselves so we can exalt ourselves above human life or whatever their ideals or ideology is. See, once, man, it's crazy because it really does not matter what they do. What they matter doesn't is not what they're doing does not matter at all when you really think about it. Because in the grand scheme of things, you cannot stop a quantum solar event from happening. This is meant to happen. This is what happens in every universe, everywhere you go. So they're literally quite actually fucking themselves by not even introducing you to this information, showing you what's going on. Like, they would probably be in better spaces internally if they actually just, share this information, share this knowledge. But again, the information is already available to everybody, but because we are presented with all these subsidiaries, all these variables, all these different angles of being attacked and things like that, because all these technologies are really flunking out our health and our mind. So they don't want you to operate coherently with yourself and be able to manifest your purpose. Because once you're able to manifest your purpose and understand your own personal sigils, understand your own personal signs that lead you to your own design, then can nobody take you off of your path because you know who you are. You know what you're supposed to do. So whatever name, whatever system you want to use to start to understand yourself, start to employ yourself, start to deploy yourself, and start to observe and study yourself much more. Start to look at the situations and the circumstances that are always on repeat that you find yourself in, because it's not a coincidence. You keep creating that situation. You keep creating that circumstance. And you need to understand, why is it that I'm in that situation? Because you actually like being in that situation. You actually like doing that, but you need to start to understand how to do it in a much more productive, much more better space, so you don't keep manifesting all these negative experiences and negative energies, and so you don't grow up old and be resentful and hateful and be like grandma and grandpa down the street hating everybody that walk by. So give yourself the time, give yourself the honor, give yourself the privilege of understanding your own design so you don't get lost in this fucking life. Oh, because they're doing their best to get everybody lost. So you need to do your best and even better to make sure that you are found. And I love you and I appreciate you guys, and there's nothing you could do about it.